Welcome to the Lumenverse. Before we begin, are you listening to this while it's raining, or is it sunny where you are? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoy our stories, please remember to like and subscribe. Now, let's begin. Long ago, in a quiet valley surrounded by tall, snow-capped mountains, there once stood a small village. The villagers lived simple lives, farming the land and tending to their flocks of cattle. The nights were quiet and peaceful, and the stars in the sky seemed to shine brighter here than anywhere else. It was said that this land was a magical place, and that a hidden garden with flowers that looked like stars lay somewhere beyond their fields. The traveler, Saren, stood before an ancient stone gate, half hidden by twisting ivy vines. There was something different about this place. The air itself seemed to ripple with secrets. It was as if the gate stood between the world as he knew it and some hidden realm of mystery and magic. As Saren walked through the gate, he was enveloped by the sweet scent of night-blooming flowers carried by a gentle breeze. He followed a path of pale stone that wove through a dense forest, the darkness all around him broken only by the pale moonlight. This was a place where silence reigned, broken only by the soft sound of Saren's footsteps. As he walked deeper into the forest, he couldn't help but feel that he was venturing into the unknown, and that something profound and mystical awaited him at the end of this strange and silent path. Saren walked on, marveling at the ethereal beauty of the place. The trees with their silvery leaves, the lazy flight of the fireflies, the wise eyes of the owls. It all blended together into a quiet harmony, a silent symphony that seemed to welcome him. The owls in particular seemed to watch over him, their watchful eyes seeming almost familiar. And as he walked further, a sense of anticipation grew within him, as though something special waited for him. Just ahead, Saren looked closer at the ground and noticed a strange sight. Tiny lights moved amid the roots of the trees beneath his feet, as if stars themselves had fallen and made their home in the earth. The air too seemed to hold its breath, as if the forest itself carried a secret so precious that it could only be shared with those who stumbled upon this hidden glade by chance. As Saren moved forwards, moving ever deeper into this world that lived in shadows, he felt his heart begin to pound in anticipation. As Saren stood at the edge of the river, he was struck by its strange beauty. The water was still, and the moonlit surface perfectly reflected the night sky above. And drifting lazily along the current were glowing petals that shed a soft, silvery light across the water. Saren reached out and touched the surface of the river, and suddenly, the water in front of him rippled, revealing a vision. A young girl stood at the river's edge, releasing a petal into the water. She closed her eyes, whispering a secret wish into the night. Saren moved across the river using a single wooden bridge, finding himself in a wide, grassy field. All around him, smooth stones of varying sizes lay among the grass. As he approached, each one began to glow faintly and rang out with a soft, musical sound. The wind swept across the field, playing the stones as if they were an orchestra, a soft bell-like song that carried memories on its silken notes. Saren paused, entranced by the music that seemed to rise from the very earth beneath his feet and fill the night air. Saren approached the end of the meadow and found a unique bridge, woven entirely out of flowering vines. Brightly colored blossoms in every hue adorned the railings, glowing softly in the moonlight. As Saren stepped onto the bridge, he felt petals flutter from the structure, twirling around him before they floated gently down to the ground below. The petals that brushed against Saren carried whispers of the past, memories not his own, but of others. He felt the joy of a child's first laugh, the comfort of a loved one's embrace, and the peace of watching the stars with someone special. Each memory was fleeting, like the petals that danced on the night wind. When Saren reached the end of the bridge, he felt a sense of lightness in his heart, as if the petals that had brushed against him carried the weight of countless kind moments shared by strangers long ago. He felt as though he had collected a precious collection of memories, gathered like priceless treasures. As Saren emerged into the clearing, his eyes widened in awe. Before him lay the star garden of Elindra, an utterly magical place unlike any other. Flowers of glowing, shimmering light bloomed among the tall grass, their petals shifting through every color of the night sky. Some shone like the softest candlelight, while others sparkled like diamonds against a midnight blue canvas. The air was filled with a subtle, almost musical hum, as if all the stars in the sky were whispering a quiet melody. Aaron stood before the glittering silver tree. He felt a profound calm wash over him. The star fruits on its branches glowed as though alive, pulsing gently, with a soft, steady rhythm that seemed to echo within his own chest. The tree itself was so radiant that it seemed as though it were a beacon, binding the very fabric of the heavens and earth together in a delicate balance. Saren knew then that the garden was not merely a tale, it was real, and it had been waiting for him. As Saren approached the silver tree, he noticed a being standing beneath its branches. They appeared as a shape of soft, silvery light, their form shifting and undulating like moonlit water on a still night. Their eyes glowed, holding 1,000 stars within them. The being regarded Saren with a quiet calm and spoke, their voice like a soft, musical whisper upon the breeze. "Welcome, traveler. You have walked the hidden paths, passed through the petals, and listened to the stones of the path. Few are able to find this place, and even fewer are graced with being allowed entry to its quiet." The being's slender hand rested on the silvery bark of the great tree, and instantly the branches moved. The star fruits began to shift and sway, casting a soft, warm light throughout the garden. "This tree," the being said softly, their voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid of disturbing the peace that surrounded them, "is the very heart of Alindra. Each star fruit, a dream made real. Each bloom, a memory saved from the cold fingers of time." The keeper guided Saren to a still pool tucked near the silvery tree's roots. The surface of the water was bathed in a soft silvery glow. "Here," said the keeper quietly, "the stars that fall from the sky find their rest." As Saren looked down into the pool, he noticed small fragments of light drifting lazily down from above, disappearing soundlessly into the water below. With each touch of one of these star-like fragments, images formed upon the pool's surface. A child lighting a lantern and setting it, a mother singing a lullaby to a sleepy child. The keeper looked upon Saren with a gentle gaze, their voice a soft whisper that seemed to echo within the very heart of the garden. "These are the humble dreams of the world," they explained quietly, their words carrying a subtle weight. "Are the things we whisper to ourselves in the quiet hours of the night. They never truly go away. They are carried here, to this place, and preserved, so that they might always remain." As Saren's hand dipped into the pool, he was taken aback. The water felt alive with warmth, a comfort that wrapped around him like a beloved blanket. The keeper gestured to the narrow archway that led into the labyrinthine hedge. The silver branches glowed softly in the faint silvery light of the starfruit, shimmering amongst silver leaves. "If you wish to truly know the garden," the keeper explained softly, "you should walk the labyrinth. There, you will find answers and questions. Do not falter. Simply listen." Curious, Saren entered the labyrinth, noticing that as he moved through the twisting path, carved runes glowed softly into the hedges, revealing fragments of memory upon each touch. The journey through the labyrinth was like stepping back in time. With every turn, every step, every glimpse into moments of simple joy the garden held, Saren found the memories stirring something within him, a feeling as though something forgotten was slowly returning. At the very center of the hedge wall he discovered a stone bench, surrounded on all sides by silver light and silver leaves. He sat down, and the world around him seemed to still. Then he understood. The labyrinth was not a puzzle to solve, but rather a pathway through memory. As Saren reappeared at the heart of the garden, the moon hung high above in a star-studded sky. Silver owls descended slowly from the silvery tree, gliding on the night breeze as they touched down silently around him. Their feathers glistened, as though touched by the light of the stars themselves. One of the owls settled nearby, its eyes glittering with a knowing light. Without a sound, it shared a silent image, a sight of a wide, star-filled sky, and countless threads of light connecting hearts together. The keeper approached, carrying a softly glowing starfruit in their slender hands. As they placed it into Saren's palms, he could feel its warmth, its light. "This fruit is not for consumption," the keeper said quietly, their eyes meeting his, "but for keeping. Within is a small piece of the very heart of Alindra, and it will stay with you, wherever you should go. Carry it with you, and carry the memory of this place within yourself." The journey back to the entrance of the garden was peaceful, as though the magic of the place wanted to linger in Saren's memories until the very end. He passed over the blossoming bridge, its flowers drifting like snow, across a meadow lined with singing stones, and then over the river, where each petal floating upon the water seemed to carry a whisper within it. Finally, he reached the gateway, which stood waiting for him, its open door framing a world that just now was beginning to awaken to the light of the dawn. As Saren moved farther and farther away from the garden, he held the starfruit close against him, protecting its soft glow from the outside world. He found himself noticing the small beauties he'd once missed, the way the wind whispered through leaves like music, the warmth shared in a smile, a child laughing as they chased their shadow with the setting sun. Though he searched, he never again saw the gateway to the Silver Garden, but its magic lived within him still. For the Star Garden lived inside everyone, the memory of beauty and hope. When Saren closed his eyes that night, he dreamed vividly. He beheld the silvery glow of the Star Garden in his mind's eye, and a bridge of light appeared across the night sky. It was woven this time, not from stone or blossoms, but from the silken threads of moonlight that hung above. Saren walked upon the bridge, and it carried him above forests and streams, over towering mountains and peaceful valleys. Below he could see people sleeping serenely, their dreams rising like miniature lanterns into the air. And as the dreams floated upward, they joined the stars above to keep the heavens alight. On the silken silvery bridge, Saren looked down to find a vast meadow of grass rolling out before him. The blades seemed to move with the night air like a rolling ocean, and as the breeze blew, he could hear the soft whispers of half-remembered melodies drifting through the darkness. And then the keeper stood beside him, their form barely visible in the darkness. They explained that these were the tunes of the past, the lyrics and songs that had once echoed into the world, and that they ended here, to rest gently in the soft bed of grass until some night a lost traveler might come to remember. In the silver moonlight, Saren beheld a small grove of trees, each one adorned with glowing lanterns. Some burned with brilliant, steady light, as though fueled by the warmth of a generous heart. Others flickered with a soft and gentle glow, as though fighting to find their own strength. The keeper stepped up beside Saren and spoke softly. Each of these lanterns is a spark of kindness, and though many burn brighter, none will ever be snuffed out. The river was different here. The water glowed with a silvery light that seemed to come from within itself. As he peered into the mirrored surface, Saren saw glimpses of things that had not happened yet. Places he'd never been, people he'd never met. These were but possibilities, not assurances, and they danced like starlight upon the water. As the keeper's voice spoke quietly beside him, Saren felt a calm come over him. You do not need to fear this river, for it does not bind you. It only serves to help you understand that the coming days are never empty. Every choice, every action, lights a new path, and there are so many, each one yet to be walked. As Saren turned away, the river's peaceful glow lingering in his mind, he realized that what came tomorrow would come anyway. It was enough knowing that it could be something good. As the dream slowly faded and the lights from the lanterns and the river grew fainter, Saren found his body slowly awakening once more. One last time, the voice of the keeper floated through the fading mists like a warm whisper, as though to stay with him through the rest of the night. Elindra is not only the silver garden beyond the gate, it resides within every quiet moment, every act of kindness, and every star in the sky above. Saren's eyes flickered open, the light of a new dawn shining through the window. As he shifted, he felt a faint glow in his pocket. The starfruit, still warm with the magic of the silver garden, reminded him of the dream he'd experienced in the night. He stood, dressed, and stepped out into the new day, the memory of Elindra living within him, like a flame burning gently in his heart. And so the story of Saren and the Star Garden comes to its quiet close. It teaches us that wonder never leaves, but waits instead until it can shine once more like hidden stars behind a curtain of clouds. You rest yourself to sleep this night. May you find your own inner garden, a home of peace, silence, a gentle glimmer of light. Let the stars above keep watch over you, and let the kindness within your own heart be the lamps that guide your path. Sleep peacefully, dream gently. Remember, magic lives inside you. A small, quiet village lay nestled within the folds of a rural valley, so overlooked that even the most thorough maps often forgot to mark its name. In the heart of this humble place, an ancient willow tree stood like a silent sentinel, its silvery limbs cascading to the ground like a radiant, silvery green waterfall. With each gentle breeze, the branches swayed to and fro, their elegant dance like whispers of wisdom carried upon the wind. The villagers of the village had long whispered tales of the ancient willow, claiming that its leaves never fell, even during the most bitter winter months. At night, The tree's branches would glisten softly, reminiscent of a web of moonlight. The local children, wide-eyed and curious, would whisper amongst themselves that if one pressed their ear close enough to the bark, they could hear the tree's whispers, its leaves carrying stories for weary minds to rest upon in slumber. As little Elira lay under the branches of the ancient willow, her eyelids growing heavy with the lure of sleep, she heard a soft whisper on the night breeze. It was not the sound of the wind or the rustling of leaves, but rather a voice, tender as shadows. Child of the valley, would you care to hear the tale of my roots? Elira smiled, eyes half-lidded, and nodded silently, lost in the spell of the ancient tree's melodic tone. Before the village ever stood, a river ruled over the valley, carrying upon its current the songs of lofty mountains to the far-off sea. Yet, in stark contrast to most rivers, this one possessed an unusual gift. Rather than forgetting the small details of its journey, it held firmly onto every pebble its waves brushed, the memory of each bird that fluttered down to wash its feathers, and the reflection of every cloud that mirrored the endless sky above. The river, longing to hold on to the memories it carried, sought help from the very heavens above. The sky, in its wisdom, offered guidance. Plant something in your bed, let your roots grow deep. They will remember what you cannot hold. Then, from the vast expanse of the sky, a single seed fell down like a silent promise, taking root in the river's bed. The roots of the willow dug deep, not only drawing water but also collecting the memories carried by the river's flowing current. And thus, the willow became the keeper of tales. Time rolled by as the years passed, and eventually, a lone wanderer found his way to the river valley. Weary from a long journey, he chose to rest beneath the ancient willow, his boots worn out, his pack almost empty. While the wanderer slept, the wise willow chose to share a dream with him, showing him glimpses of his life, a mosaic of places he had visited, people he had encountered, and the acts of compassion he had bestowed along his path. The weary wanderer awoke from his peaceful slumber, tears glimmering in his eyes. The dream sent by the ancient willow had shown him that even the smallest deeds possessed a weight and significance, and he took that comfort with him onward. The people who lived in the valley spoke of him as the first dreamer, the one who had revealed the soothing power of the ancient willow. The villagers no longer kneeled in the shadow of the tree to pray, but rather, they sought its quiet company. With closed eyes, they paused to breathe deeply, listening to the whispers of the tree's branches. Elira listened to the ancient willow's tale, feeling a warmth blossom within her. She whispered softly, "Will you bless me with dreams too?" The willow's branches shifted, dancing upon the night breeze. "My child," it answered quietly, "I already have. When you close your eyes, I shall share the memories of the world with you, but not all at once, only a little to offer you solace." That night, as Elira slumbered, the dreams sent by the old willow painted their gentle portraits upon her mind. She saw rivers like silken ribbons dancing softly under the moonlight, the glow of lanterns floating upon water's surface, and valleys that held an uncanny familiarity, as though somewhere deep inside she knew them. When she opened her eyes the following morning, Elira kept that dream close, like a precious lantern in her heart. Though the village was still small and unnoticed to the world outside, every soul that lived beneath the ancient willow carried a dream that shone brighter than any golden treasure. As years passed, Elira shared her dream with the other children in the village. Many had already heard of the old willow, but none had received such a vision. The little ones listened in awe as Elira whispered the wonders she had seen. Soon, the children began to gather under the willow's branches every day. There, beneath the whispering leaves, they shared their own dreams. The villagers, curious but not frightened, watched as their children gathered at the edge of the forest with wide eyes. The villagers, filled with curiosity but not fear, observed the growing circle of children gathering the ancient willow daily. They whispered amongst themselves, the elders recalling the tales of the first dreamer, while the young ones speculated about the meaning of the dream shared by Elira. Eventually, word of the mysterious gatherings reached the village's elder, a wise woman named Auralia. She decided to visit the scene herself and understand what was happening. Auralia arrived at the edge of the forest, finding a circle of children gathered beneath the ancient willow. Their voices mingled in quiet, excited whispers. Auralia stood silently, hidden by the shade of nearby trees. She listened to the children's murmurs and observed the reverential way they touched the willow's bark. After some time had passed, One of the children noticed Auralia standing nearby. The children quieted immediately. The children, who had been engaged in hushed conversations, suddenly fell silent, sensing the presence of someone else in the forest. One of the younger ones, a boy named Finn with a shy smile, spotted Auralia standing quietly behind the nearby trees. The other children also noticed her, their whispered conversations coming to a sudden stop. They exchanged curious glances, wondering who this stranger was and why she was watching them from the shadows. The children, now silent, watched Auralia with a mix of curiosity and wariness. Finn, the boy with the shy smile, took a cautious step forward, as if trying to gauge Auralia's intentions. Some of the younger children hid behind the trunks of nearby trees, peeking out curiously. Alaria, sensing the children's trepidation, slowly emerged from the shadows and stepped closer. "Hello, young ones," she said, her voice carrying a warm, motherly tone. The children, slightly reassured by Auralia's gentle voice, relaxed a little, though some still remained huddled near the shelter of the trees. Finn, still a few steps in front of the group, offered a meek hello in response. Alaria smiled kindly, her eyes scanning the hesitant faces before her. "I couldn't help but notice you all gathering here day after day," she said gently. "May I ask why you come here?" The children exchanged nervous glances, unsure how much they should reveal. Finally, Finn spoke up, though his words were hesitant. "We come here to have dreams," he admitted softly. Alaria's curiosity was piqued. "To have dreams? Here, beneath the old willow's branches?" Finn nodded earnestly, the other children murmuring their agreements. Alaria pondered for a moment, her gaze shifting to the ancient willow standing majestically over them. "And the dreams you have here, beneath the willow? They are special dreams, are they not?" The children nodded again, their voices now carrying a hint of excitement. "Yes, they're different from any other dreams we've had," a girl named Mira piped up, her eyes wide. Alaria smiled, sensing the sincerity in the children's words. "Different how?" she inquired, stepping closer to the group. The children exchanged glances again, their excitement growing. Finn spoke up this time, his voice a little stronger than before. "They're clearer, more vivid," he explained. "We remember them even after we wake up." "Yes, and they make us feel things all good," Mira added, nodding. Like happiness and hope, a murmuring of agreement echoed through the group, the children nodding in unison. Alaria's eyes shone with curiosity and a faint sense of wonder. "And you all experience these dreams?" she asked, looking from one small face to another. Again, enthusiastic nodding. Some of the braver children spoke up, their voices blending together. "Every single one of us, all the time. They're so real." The air was alive with the children's excitement and the whispered murmur of their words. Alaria listened intently, her mind racing with possibilities. "These special dreams, they only happen when you come here, under the old willow's branches?" The children chorused their assent, their heads bobbing up and down. "Mm-hmm. Always. Never anywhere else." The children's agreement was unanimous, their voices forming a chorus of certainty. Alaria's thoughts were tumbling over each other. "And you're sure these special dreams are different from your ordinary dreams?" Another round of nodding and eager affirmation filled the air. "Yes," a girl named Leah chimed in, her eyes wide. "They feel like more than a dream." Auralia was becoming keenly aware of the intensity of the children's words. There was a genuine conviction to their shared experience. "More than a dream," Auralia repeated, her voice barely a whisper. "It almost sounds as if the old willow—" She let the thought hang, her eyes flickering over the children's faces. The children waited eagerly, hanging on to her every word. Finn, the boy with the shy smile, took a tentative step forward. "It's like the dreams here, they're from the tree," he said boldly. Aurelia's eyes met Finn's, her gaze sharp with curiosity. "From the tree," she echoed thoughtfully. The other children, encouraged by Finn's boldness, voiced their agreement with a collective. Alaria turned her gaze towards the ancient tree, its gnarled branches spreading out in a protective canopy over them. "You think the willow is giving you these special dreams?" The children, emboldened by Aurelia's encouraging questions, nodded in unison. Finn spoke up again, his young voice filled with a rare confidence. "We all think so," he said. "The willow's branches, they're like they're whispering to us, telling us the dreams Murmurs of agreement rippled through the group once more. Aurelia's mind was a whirlwind of confusion and fascination. There was no denying the sincerity in the children's words. She looked at the old willow again, the weight of its age and wisdom palpable in the air. Could it be possible? Could the ancient tree be giving these children something beyond dreams? She turned back to the group, her gaze landing on Finn. You say the branches whisper to you. What do they whisper? Finn's face scrunched up in concentration as he tried to recall the whispers. Words soft like feathers, he said slowly, and feelings like hope and peace, safety. The other children nodded fervently, adding their own interpretations. And love, said Mira. And lime, said Leah quietly. Aurelia listened intently, her heart stirring at their words. These children, in their simplistic innocence, were describing sensations beyond their years. She leaned in closer, her voice gentle yet eager. And when you say the feelings, they're good, they're beautiful. The children, their faces shining in the shade, chorused yes, yes, yes. Their words rang out through the air, filled with sincerity. Finn, again becoming the voice of the group, said, they're like a gift. Aurelia's heart ached with the purity of Finn's statement. A gift. That's what they thought the dreams were. Not just ordinary dreams, but a present from the ancient tree. She crouched down to their eye level, her eyes shining with a mix of curiosity and a strange kind of hope. A gift from the willow tree? She asked, her voice barely more than a breath. The children nodded in unison, their eyes wide with trust. Their belief was unshakable, their conviction strong. Aurelia felt a thrill race up her spine. The children's belief was overwhelming, their trust as sturdy as the towering branches of the ancient tree. She looked from face to face, marveling at their innocence. These children, without a doubt, believed they were receiving something extraordinary from the old willow, something beyond the realm of a simple dream. And you think that everyone who comes here, under the willow's branches, will have these dreams? She asked, her voice still a hushed whisper. Aurelia's question lingered in the air, a thought heavy with possibility. The children nodded, their confidence unwavering. The old willow for them was more than just a tree. It was a source of dreams, a bringer of gifts. But for Aurelia it was She stood up, her gaze now fixed on the ancient tree. It stood there majestic and silent, its branches swaying gently in the breeze, as if whispering secrets only the wind could decipher.